The two-week COP16 Biodiversity Summit has kicked off in Colombia with an opening ceremony flanked by Colombian officials and representatives of indigenous people. Now, running until November 1st, the summit aims to negotiate the next steps in implementing the landmark 2022 Kunming-Montreal Accord. Now, that accord is likened to the Paris Agreement on climate change, but for nature. The COP16 is expected to welcome 190 countries and 15,000 people with the goal of protecting the world's flora and fauna.
No se trata solamente de mecanismos de implementación. Se trata, en el fondo, de recomponer la forma que vivimos, de recomponer el modelo de desarrollo, de recomponer, de repensar, de redescubrir cómo vivimos conjuntamente en la diversidad en un sistema que no genere permanentemente a la naturaleza como una víctima del desarrollo.
Now, 2 years ago, an agreement was signed by 196 countries at the United Nations Biodiversity Conference calls for protecting 30% of land and water by 2030, known as 30 by 30. But as of last week, around 46% of countries have submitted targets and less than 15% submitted plans for reaching them. As Cali hosts the COP16, here is what you need to know about nature's rapid decline and its importance to the global economy. Now, plants and animals play significant parts in keeping nature humming. However, more than a quarter of the world's known species, or that's a total of about 45,300 species, are now threatened with extinction. According to the Worldwide Fund for Nature, monitored populations of wild animals had shrunk by 73% globally by 2020, compared with 1970 figures. As of 2023, the amount of land deforested was 45% higher than where it should be in order to meet the 2030 goal. Now, this is according to the Forest Declaration Assessment. When it comes to marine life, roughly 38% of fish stocks are being overfished, compared with about 10% in the mid-1970s. Now, WWF says overfishing is also destabilizing coral reef ecosystems, which provide shelter, food, and nursing grounds to a quarter of the world's marine life. Now, furthermore, talking about the impact on global economy, whether it is insects pollinating crops, plants filtering fresh water supplies, or forests providing timber for construction, nature and its critters deliver a wealth of materials and services to the global economy for free. According to the World Economic Forum, about $44 trillion of the world's annual economic output, or that's roughly half the total, relies on these natural resources and services. The World Bank estimates that the collapse of certain ecosystem services, such as fisheries or native forests, could cost the world economy $2.7 trillion annually by 2030, and that's about 2.3% of global output. The UN Environmental Program estimates spending on nature needs to increase to $542 billion annually by 2030, up from $200 billion as of 2020, to halt nature loss and meet climate goals.